As we inch closer and closer to a August release for the Pixel 10 series of devices, we are learning more and more about those devices. And one that I think most of you watching this channel are likely to be most excited about is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Back in March, we did get these renders posted on Android headlines in collaboration with OnLeaks, and it depicts a Pixel 10 Pro Fold that looks remarkably similar to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. And as great as these renders are, and they do have some rough measurements down here, which they admit are rough. In fact, they have it, listed here as the thickness actually getting thicker than the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which is absolutely not going to happen. We're going to talk about why those measurements might be a little bit screwy. As great as these renders are, sometimes it's really nice to just have something physical in your hand, and that's what we're going to be looking at here today. You guys are probably familiar with an aramid fiber case by a company called Thinborne. Sometimes they're branded as Fiberborne, but either way, it's still the same company. They actually already have listed a Pixel 10 Pro Fold case. And while it says that it is sold out, which I think just means that they're not ready to start taking orders yet, what they did is they went ahead and sent me one of these cases. And obviously the phone is not even announced, let alone out. We are months and months out, but they seem fairly confident that they do have these cases constructed to fit this unreleased, unannounced device. So we're going to quickly take a look at this aramid fiber case. Obviously, I'm not reviewing the case because I don't have the phone to put it on. But what I can do is I can compare it to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and see how the dimensions might have changed. Alright, so here is the Thinborne case and my very own Pixel 9 Pro Fold. We'll quickly slide it out of the way just for a moment when we open this thing up. You can see that this is, once again, a two-piece case. If I'm remembering correctly, last year, I think that they had some issues with the fitment of this piece here. I may be wrong about this. I have to go back and look, but there's something about the fitment that was just giving them a little bit of trouble. They didn't want to stay in place. It wasn't the wrong measurements. It just, something was a little bit off. And then, of course, the location of the MagSafe ring was a little bit screwy. A lot of people got that messed up because, for whatever reason, Google put the Qi wireless charging coil in a different location, a little bit lower than what everybody else does, and it kind of messed up a bunch of different case makers. But nonetheless, here is the new case for the new device and the old device. And as you can see, the general design is staying the same. That camera bump is staying in the same location. Let's do this. Let's just try to pop this case on to this older Pixel and see what happens. See if it's able to fit at all. That might tell us a bit if it's actually getting thinner or not. And if you can look here, it does not want to fit on there. The cutouts for these things are exactly the same. The cutout for the camera appears to be basically exactly the same. But it looks like, maybe, just maybe, there are some dimensional changes there. And we can kind of dig into that a little bit deeper by using last year's Thinborne case. And let's see if there's any difference at all in terms of that height. From this angle, they look absolutely identical. This is the 10 Pro Fold. This is the 9 Pro Fold. Obviously, I've got them sort of flipped around so that they line up like this. But man, that looks identical to me. But of course, we can grab a caliper and we can measure these cases. And again, it's important to point out, we're measuring the case, not the phone, all right? So things are not going to be exactly perfect. But it will at least, I think, point us in the direction of ground truth. So we have grabbed the case for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold first. And let's measure the thickness of this. And we'll try to be as exacting as we can. We're at 6.55 millimeters thick. And if we grab the new case, let's try to measure around about the same location. We are at 6.64 millimeters. I think that that's close enough to say the height, the thickness, I should say, probably going to be very, very, very similar. That could just be a slight difference in the way that the case, is formed, how far around the device it wants to go. In terms of height, you can just line them up, and if there's a difference, it's hard for me to see. This is the 10, this is the 9. In terms of the width of the device, the 9 is measuring out at 74.91 millimeters, and the 10 is measuring at 74.9 millimeters. So I would say that as far as the width goes, they are pretty much identical. So guys, what I think we're going to be getting with the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is basically the exact same phone as the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. I can't really see where the issue is getting this case onto the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. It just doesn't want to reach around the top there for whatever reason. It's really, really close though. This hole is also slightly misaligned, so that has changed. But I would say that based on this, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is going to be physically remarkably similar to the 9. If you're wondering why I'm not using this year's front piece to compare to last year's front piece, the answer is they are so flimsy and they're so hard to get like lined up to really do anything. It's basically impossible to really get any good information from this, but they look extremely similar. So I don't think that there's any information to glean from these pieces. So there you go, guys. I think that this is something that is minimum fairly interesting, and it does line up with those earlier leaks quite well. It's not something that I will tell you should be taking as 100% confirmed. This is absolutely what's going to happen, but I think that more than likely that is exactly what is going to happen. And when you look at these dimensions and you compare them to the dimensions of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, the only aberration, the only confusing thing here is going to be the thickness, the only thing that stands out. And I think that we can pretty easily explain that by the fact that this dimension here, 5.1 millimeters, is not including the bezel on the inner screen of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and OnLeaks was including the bezel in his measurement. If you account for that, I think all of this starts to line up. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold minus a little bit of a wider screen on the cover display because the hinge area is smaller is going to be 99% the same as the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Thanks for watching. Drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.